Welcome back.
It is our fourth maybe Sunday slate. Three? I don't know.
Three
fourth
maybe?
feels like a lot. I think
feel like
three.
everything we do feels like a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, this is
right.
week 7. This is week 7
week
Sunday
7.
slate. We don't do math here, but if you're new
It's
here,
hard.
if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. This is my gorgeous friend and amazing, talented, wonderful, kind, sweet
I'm gonna kill
bestie, Caitlin.
And this is my best friend Spencer. And like literally, if you're not watching this just to stare at her the whole time, what are you doing? She's incredible.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'm actually so upset. I hate me and this fucking HDMI cord. Where are you? I actually hate that Caitlin and I are still remote, but it's fine because
I'll be in Colorado so soon. I just need to buy a ticket. I don't know when I'm going, but it'll be a quick trip and I'll just go out there whenever I want. So
she said quick trip because she doesn't want to be here with me that long. That's actually why we're remote. No,
I tell Spencer to move into my house like every week.
She does.
So
this is facts.
Yeah.
She really does. The thing is, she lives in hell, and
it is
in
a
layman's
crisp
terms,
74
Arizona.
degrees today.
Okay, well, it was like 50 here. It was so fun and fall and fresh.
Do you see me wearing a sweatshirt? And it's needed today. It's not really needed, okay? But like, it's appropriate today is what I should say.
That was a better term. I like that. Appropriate.
Thank you, ma'am. It's not appropriate when I wear it in 100-degree weather. But
so if you are new here, I am in Denver. Caitlin is in Arizona. This is U Sports, and I'm a tall drink of water. And I cover my sign because I'm 5'10". So we are here.
I actually just have horrible posture. If I sat up all the way, I'd probably cover my sign too.
I'd have to be hunchback.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm literally leaning back with my feet on the table.
Anyway, this is so exciting because we're filming this and you're going to see this tomorrow when we film it because you're going to see it on Saturday, but we are filming it Friday and we're going to do our first live show tonight. So hopefully it wasn't a total and utter disaster because I like to edit because I can't speak half the time. So
same, actually, super same.
So I feel like we can go ahead and get right into it, right, Caitlin?
We can. The first game is a good old game of ass.
We're still in London. We're still
in London.
Still in London. Not us, but the Jags and the Patriots battle. See, when it's NBA season, which we are also going to be getting into soon. When it's NBA season, it's two bad playing. See,
Two bad playing.
Two bad playing. Two bad teams playing. We call it the Battle of Basketball. And so if you have any clever, names for what we should call when it's two football teams, right? We're open to suggestions because the Patriots and the Jags both suck a lot.
Yeah. I have it being, I'll just even go off with like I'm going to start with picking my winner and the score. And then I'll tell you a little bit why, or you can tell me yours first. But either way, I have the Jags winning this one 17-16. I have it being a low
you have it even lower than me?
Yeah, I have it being a low scoring, close game. The only reason I have the Jags winning because like they're both horrible teams, and I feel like you could just flip a coin for this one and it would be valid.
Yeah.
But the Jags have been in London for well over a week now, so I think that they're going to be a lot more adjusted to the time. And the Jags do have a little bit of a better defense. Both of their offenses are absolutely abysmal. They're horrible offenses. I'm really excited to see Drake May play in a second game. Too. Yeah, I think it'll be really good for him. But I literally just think that this is going to be just such a slow game. So that's my prediction. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but I want to hear yours.
Yeah, I have Jags at 21-17.
Okay,
And
yeah.
honestly, there are a couple games where I'm like, you could flip flop and I wouldn't judge you. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't love this because Kayla and I have talked about, and it's happened like a couple times in this season about matchup streaks where like other teams lose. So New England actually holds a 4-1 record against Jacksonville in their last 5 matchups.
Of course they do.
But they still have like a rookie in his second game, but he wasn't awful. I mean, he had 3 touchdown passes in his debut, but also 3 turnovers. So clearly he can pass.
Solid rookie. Exactly what we'd expect.
The Patriots defense and the Jags defense are both like horrifying to watch. I think I might take out my contacts and just try and watch half blind for most of this game.
The Jags allow almost 300 pass yards per game.
The Patriots,
that is disgusting.
The Jags defense are literally last in the league. Like, they are 32nd. 32nd in opposing pass rush yards allowed, 31st in opposing points per game, 11th in opposing rushing yards. Better. 31st.
I was going to say that's literally why
the only thing
I
they can
said
do.
yes. I literally was saying that like their rush defense is going to be the only thing that helps them, like that aids them in a win. I have it's going to be so bad.
They're both bad. I mean, Patriots defense is 24th in opposing passing yards, but the thing is, it's like Jags have really inconsistent pass rush, which is as shown as them being 32nd. And they really have like bad gap integrity issues. Yeah. Like within their offense to get it going. They really do. So I think the Jags have like the edge on the ground because they've been, of course, they're 11th, like pretty good at stopping the run. And they're 10th, actually. Like their rushing defense is better than you might assume. They're 10th in like yards per carry allowed, which is like 4.3 yards. So again, I think it's going to be toss up because you have 3rd overall pick Drake May. So, you know, you have 3 touchdown passes, but you had 3 turnovers. So in our second game, we are in London. So are you jet lagged? Can you take care of the ball better?
Period.
But I think
that's why I have the Jags. Literally, that's why I was saying that. Like, I feel like the Jags, just based on jet lag alone, are gonna pull out the 1-point win in my head.
Yeah. Well, especially because Jacksonville let Caleb Williams last week throw 4 touchdowns. Yeah. I think that's like why I had them barely a little bit higher. I think they might get to 17 points. Who knows?
I think they might get to 17 points. You're so cute.
I don't know.
No, literally.
For me, the Patriots are like a big question mark because you saw how Caleb Williams started and he looked terrible-ish. And now he's looking better. So as we've said, like rookie quarterbacks, they need their reps. They need to be in there. They need to be in the game. You're not learning from sitting on the bench. And at least the Patriots are in a position to let him get those reps right now.
It's funny. That's exactly what I said. It's just funny because you and I have the same mind. But I was literally saying that this is going to be, just with Jacksonville's pass defense being so disgusting, this is going to be a really good game for Drake May to literally just get pass reps. Like like really figure out their offense with Drake May, figure out the pass game, figure out, route running for their receivers and their tight ends and things like that. So I think that'll be good for them. But it's going to be Ramondre Stevenson is still questionable at this point.
That's what I was going to say. And so their RB2, Gibson, he only picked up 19 yards on 13 carries. So when the only good thing the Jags do is kind of stop the run, and you already are dealing with like a not great second option, I don't think they're going to be running much. I don't think they're going to be on the ground very much at all.
I agree. And I said the same thing kind of with the Jags. The Jags have Travis Etienne Jr., which is still out with a hamstring injury. And so words again. This is why
Tank Bigsby.
We
have the same like notes.
I know, literally. Tank Bigsby will have to kind of take the reins on their ground offense. Expect them to utilize the pass game a little bit more with Brian Thomas Jr. and Christian Kirk. But like both the Jags and the Patriots are going to just have to dig so deep in their bag and use their second and third string guys and just really try to figure something out.
They each have an edge. I think Jaguars have the edge in the run game. They're ranked 19th, but they were averaging 5.3 yards per carry, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And Pat's defense has allowed 193 and 192 yards in the last 2 games.
Wowzers.
So, but usually, again, you usually have that like 1-2 punch factor with Tank Bixby and Travis Etienne. I hope that's how you say it. But yeah, I don't think Travis Etienne's going to be available. He missed most of the games. I'm crying. I texted in the group that we were in starting 5 and Madeline just said, she's a star.
How did she know?
If you are here and you also watch NBA and you are watching the starting 5, Caitlin and I have a cameo in episode 9.
You're welcome. Halfway through.
Just, like 28 minutes
Little
in, I think.
cutie patooties.
Or 28 minutes left. We're just in the corner clapping on our nuggies. Anyway, moving on to the game that I am so most excited for. And I talked about this on NFL Week 7 with Caitlin a couple days ago. Lions versus Vikings.
It's going to be a good one.
I'm kind of in love with both of these teams. I have become really attached to watching both of them because, they're doing pretty freaking amazing.
They're fun to watch.
They're so fun to watch. But because I'm not a part of like their fan base, I get to kind of just like not care. And
just sit back and enjoy it.
I went back on my prediction for this score. I had the same score, but I chose a different person each like 5 seconds as I was doing my research.
It took me forever to pick, and I still don't like my pick.
I don't know. I'm like so indecisive. I think I could flip-flop with either. I have Lions at 27 and Vikings at 24.
Ooh, okay. So I have this being a much higher scoring game.
Okay.
Just because both of their offenses are almost completely whole, no injuries. Yes. And both of their defenses are missing a few key pieces. I think they're both missing like a linebacker on each end. Yeah, they're both just missing a couple of pieces. And so I think that I don't know how that'll look for them, but they're both just such monster offensive teams. So I picked the Vikings, and I still go back and forth about it, but I'll tell you what like drew
I was
me to
back
the
and
Vikings.
forth until like the last minute. So I want to hear why
me too.
ended up with the Vikings.
Okay, so I did a Vikings 34. Lions 34, Vikings 37. So I have it being a close game, but I think we have a 10-point spread between you and me. You said 24-27?
Yeah. So, but we each
I said 34,
have it
37.
winning by a field goal.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So I feel like it'll be a closer game. Like I said, I just have it being a little bit more of a offensive game. And the reason that I say that is obviously you have Aiden Hutchinson who is out, and you're going to have some other guys step up to kind of be that pass rusher and the guy that's going to be, blitzing and putting pressure on the quarterback and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see who does that for the Lions, who steps up there. But then also you have Aaron Jones back for the Vikings. And Justin Jefferson and Sam Darnold are obviously. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
So yes, I think they just announced him back this week. They said that he was practicing I think he's had 2 full practices in a row, and he should be ready for his return on Sunday or whatever it may be. But I keep going back and forth. Obviously, so the reason I ended up picking the Vikings is because Aaron Jones is back. The Vikings are at home, and the Vikings at home are a force to be reckoned with, and they're coming off of a bye week. Whereas I feel like the Lions are coming off of so many monster games that maybe they are going to be feeling a little bit tired. Maybe they aren't just going to be able to, finish the game as easily. That's kind of why I ended up there. I don't know. I'm still so back and forth about it. I think it's going to be such a good game, though. I'm so excited to watch it.
Yeah, this is
and they got Cam Akers. I totally forgot that the Vikings got Cam Akers, too, so they have an additional offensive piece.
Again, I literally, could listen to any case and flip-flop. I was flip-flopping as I wrote things.
Yes.
The NFC North, so this is obviously a divisional matchup. I hope if you're watching this part, or we're going to post this separately too. If you're coming to us newly, the NFC North, I'm sure you are excited about this game. Divisional matchup. The 4 teams in the NFC North lead in the point differential, and the Packers, who are in last place, still have a 4-2 record. So it is going
the
to
NFC
be
North is
insane.
dominating.
Yes. So Lions are 4-1, Vikings 5-0. I'm sure you know. Key injuries. We have Aiden Hutchinson out, which is a big dent in their pass rush. The reason that I still kept the Lions atop was because even with Aiden Hutchinson going out, they massacred my Cowboys. It honestly looked like they were barely missing him, which of course they were. And they've all said how like he's a deep part of their team, but they stepped up still. Like they did not slow down after that happened. So I wanted to give a little stats because I like to compare these things, of course.
Yep.
So Lions offense, and I wanted to compare because they're so damn close. So Lions offense currently are first in points per game after that Cowboys nightmare for me. Fourth in passing yards, fourth in rushing yards, sixth in touchdowns. Vikings offense, little lower, fifth in points per game, 19th in passing yards, so a little down, 21st in rushing yards, 12th in touchdowns. Their offense has been a little shaky just in the past couple weeks, I would say. It just hasn't. Yeah. They've still held on to their spot, but it hasn't looked as clean as it has. That's another reason I kind of gave on to the Lions. Also, I'm a little weird with bye weeks because you either come back really rested, but sometimes you come back too rested almost.
A little shaky, Lions, you're not in it. Yeah.
And the Lions are like coming off of all of these huge wins and just in a really good rhythm. You
and I are using like the same situations, but with like different psychological sides of it, which I love. That's why I'm so excited to see just like how it turns out. I love
and
that.
Then you have Lions defense 8th in opposing points per game, 27th in opposing passing yards, which is hilarious because then you have the Vikings defense, which is 4th in opposing points per game allowed, and then 30th in opposing passing yards.
Yummy. That's why I was saying that these balls are going to go flying because they're going to take advantage of how bad their pass rushing is.
Lions defense is 3rd in opposing rushing yards. Vikings are 2nd in opposing rushing yards. So in that statement, I don't know if Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery will get as many yards as they have been getting. I think they're both tied for 2nd in opposing touchdowns allowed. Yep. And the Vikings are 2nd in takeaways. Lions are 4th in takeaways. Like this is such an
they're
evenly
copy and
massed.
paste.
Yes. Like so close. So, and I will say like the Lions have an extra game because Vikings just had a bye week that's going into their stats. So I think, and I do think the pass defense stats don't do the Vikings defense and their pass defense justice because they usually build up a big lead and then sometimes like go a little way and get a little lazy. So I don't think that like totally does them justice.
Okay. I love that.
But the Vikings,
I think,
no, go. You go.
Oh, okay, fine. Well, I was just going to say, I think like with the Lions too. And like one thing that was like having me go back and forth so much was that Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's their offensive coordinator, were talking about the trick plays from the Dallas game. And obviously they've been doing trick plays all season, just not as much as they did in the Dallas game. And essentially Ben Johnson came out and was like, we don't plan on stopping the trick plays. Like they essentially said our bag is deep. They said the well is deep, but they were just saying like our bag is deep. We have so many, and they have so many offensive pieces. They've got plays and schemes for days. Like that's part of the reason that like I originally picked the Lions. And then I was like, someone help me out. I'm so back and forth. And then everyone right away was like, pick the Vikings. And then they gave me their reasoning. And I was like, great idea. I'll pick the Vikings. And then everyone else was
literally,
like,
you're like kind of convinced. You're like, listen, because I have my notes written in order. And as I was writing them, I flip-flopped. So like the next point I'm going to make is going to be like, well, the Vikings really should.
I know.
Because the Vikings have already beaten the teams with the 2nd, 5th, 9th, and 10th shortest Super Bowl odds, which means the best that had the best chances like ranked online basically by experts or what you may think. I don't know. But the Lions have yet to face any team in the top 10. The Vikings also already, beat the Packers. while Sunday's game is the Lions' first divisional game. So that's like where I'm like, well, like the Vikings have been tested. They're doing really well. And but the Lions have produced back-to-back games of 40 plus points for the first time since 1962.
Wow.
Detroit did not punt or turn over the football last week. They have been playing like very, very clean. And so I will say and I don't think the Packers are as good as the Lions, when the Vikings went up against the Packers, they built this big lead and then they almost lost it. So that's another thing that I take into consideration. They're so used to, I think, building up these big leads, and then they're like, oh shit, in the last half. And they can hold them off, but I don't think the Lions are going to give you that big lead in the first half.
No, I agree. And I think, you know what, that's such a smart point too, because like that is something that you do have to take into account, is like the way that they play the game. You know, like I think of it like the Broncos, not a first half team right now. Second half team, yeah, because they figure it out. But like,
they're not a third down team either.
They sure aren't. But the Vikings, like, they love to start big and they start so well. And then you're right, their defense kind of starts lacking in the second half, and that's valid. So I don't know. I'm so excited about this one too. And I just think that like both of their offenses being whole is going to be like crazy. And I'm excited to see how they utilize Cam Akers, just because like the Vikings obviously have their own like awesome offensive pieces. So it's going to he'll be great on the ground for them. It'll be interesting to see. Like you said, they both have super high ranked rush defenses.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be,
they both have great quarterbacks.
Fantastic quarterbacks, yes.
Yes. And I wanted to talk about, because we've talked about kind of like the ball leaving hands quickly and holding onto the ball too long, which is a thing that a lot of rookies have done. But the ball is leaving Jared Goff's hands very quickly. His average time to throw is 2.78 seconds. And
first of all, shout out to the O-line for giving him that time.
Sam Darnold's average release is 3.14 seconds.
Shout out to that O-line too. I'm mortified that these guys have plenty of time to throw, but can still release it so quickly. It must be nice.
Literally. I mean, like, that's pretty dang fast. So that's another that I'm like, okay, Jared Goff doesn't hold on to the ball too long. I think sometimes that does get Sam Darnold in trouble. And then while they have a great shitty pass defense, great rush defense, I do still believe that David Montgomery is going to have a game. He is like what they call the angry run king. So he forced 10 missed tackles last week. Not that
pretty insane.
I'm not saying my Cowboys are a great run defense, but I mean, to force a lot of, 10 missed tackles is pretty impressive. And Jahmyr Gibbs,
it is. That's incredible.
Literally looks like a speed demon that you like wind up and then it like shoots off. So he's tied for fourth in the NFL with 6 rushes of 15 plus yards. So they do not back down. Like, they do not just fall when they're touched. Like, they're bullying through you. They are bulldozing through you. They're not giving up easily. They don't care if you're coming from them. They don't care if there's 2 of you on them. They're not giving up. And that's what I love so much about them is that they're not like, oh, well, now I guess I'll just go down here. They're like, oh no, fuck that. Like, I'm getting my yards. Sorry.
Yes. Well, that's like how I am. Like, there was a play, and this is obviously a totally different game, but like, I just want to, like, I love when guys do not allow like defenders to scare them off, I guess. Like,
yes. They're not like, they're coming. And then they like run out of bounds.
Yes. Or they just like allow themselves to be like tackled by the softest tackle, and I'm like, you could have broken that tackle like easily, and
literally do a little spin.
Exactly. So, and there were like plays, Bo Nix and Spencer Rattler, okay, two rookie quarterbacks and everything. Bo Nix had like a big 20-yard run, and he took a hit to get that 20 yards. Like, he like waited until he was tackled. He kept going, and Spencer Rattler, he had this like kind of longish run, and he literally like jogged out of bounds. I'm like, you could have gotten like an extra 12 yards, bro. Like, so I always like appreciate people who are willing to like take hits, try to break tackles,
100%.
man their way through it. I respect the fight.
I think the Lions defense or offense, sorry. And this is another reason why I have Lions offense coming out on top, because there's so many options. Like anyone, like you have two gritty guys on the ground, and then you have an amazing array of receivers in your tight end. Jamison Williams is averaging 22.8 yards per catch. And
Which
Khalif
is
Raymond,
huge, by the way.
Khalif Raymond against bad offenses can do the same thing. And then you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's just, I love him so much. He's
so good.
He's so good. He's like physical, gritty. He is a baller. He's had 3 touchdowns inside the 10, which are tied for second in the NFL. And then you have Sam Laporta, who is a huge run after the catch threat. Like he bullies for sure. So his 3.2 average yards after catch is in the top 10 according to like all the stats and things. So I was like, when I think about it, like that's why I have them, because their offense is so deep. But again, the Vikings defense has been insane. It's so, I don't know. It's
someone commented on my post when I was talking about like my picks and stuff like that. And I originally had the Lions. Like that was my original choice. And then I convinced myself of the Vikings, and I let other people convince me to keep the Vikings. But this guy was like, Lions are going to beat them. Stay on that side. Like when they do. And I was like, if the Lions do win, I'm just going to know that my gut reaction was right. Oh,
it's okay.
Can't
I'll give you
anything.
Before we move on. I will give you some more clarity on why the Vikings are also a really good choice, because Brian Flores, who is the defensive coordinator for the Vikings, his unit leads the league with 11 interceptions, 41 passes defended, and their pass rush is tied for the 3rd most sacks.
They've got a dirty D.
And then, listen, I'm telling y'all, I went back and forth because not only obviously the Lions have the number 1 scoring offense, they are 7th in 3rd down conversion rate, which is 44.8%.
Yep.
And they are 4th in successful drive percentage, which is 48.2% of their possessions, and in an offensive score of some variety. So I think it's going to be insane, and I cannot wait to watch this game. I can't wait to see what Brian Flores does with this Lions offense. I hope that I just want to see a beautiful game on both sides of football. I can't wait to see these defenses get down and dirty and these offenses get throwing and going.
Ooh. Me throwing and going. Okay, yeah. I was saying that 1, why is this not a primetime game? I'm so bitter about that. And 2, I hope this game goes into overtime. Give me more.
Ooh, that would be delicious. I can't. I want to see each team's best, because I am expecting each team's best, and I have high expectations, and I want you to meet them, because I can't wait to watch this game.
Period.
On to a game that I really could not care too much about. We have Titans versus Bills. I guess if you want to see how Amari Cooper does in his debut, you can turn it on. We have...
Other than that, it's not going to be exciting.
It's not going to be that exciting. I have Bills at 27, Titans at 13, and I want to hear what you have, Caitlin.
I have Bills 31, Titans 16. We were just talking about this.
We're always
the Bills
so similar.
I know, our brains, they just are so lined up. But I just think that the Bills with Josh Allen still has not thrown an interception all season. He has probably played, for the most part, some of his best football. It's also probably a testament to the guys that he has surrounding.
Those, like 2 weeks before. I was going to say
he had this. He had the 2 rough weeks for sure. I think I even put that they had like a 2 rough weeks, and then I was saying last week that was going to be his comeback game. Yes.
Yeah.
But other than that, I just like you have Dalton Kincaid, which are starting to use a little bit more. And overall, he's been playing really well. They have Khalil Shakir. They have Ray Davis, who's currently questionable. But then you're going to have guys like Amari Cooper who are coming in and just being able to kind of run the ball too. I think that I would say that their offensive pieces are going to outweigh the decent Titans defense. The Titans do have
Amen. You took the
a
words
decent
right out of my mouth.
defense, but yeah, it's just the Titans offense alone is going to just put them right in the crapper.
It's like they cancel each other out. So
totally. Yeah, they're like a net zero.
Yeah, I did say that I wasn't sure how Amari Cooper is going to do just this week. Also, because you're like coming in, you're learning a new offense, you're learning new plays, you're getting used to all that. And then you're playing against the team that has, which still shocks me, they are first ranked in opposing passing yards allowed. So
I actually think
they have allowed the fewest.
So
I think they're lying. They have allowed the fewest passing yards in the NFL through 6 weeks. And you might think that's like because of their bye week. But you're wrong. They literally have allowed the fewest passing yards in the NFL even before they went on their bye week. So that's, you literally took the words right out of my mouth. With great defense comes worse offense, because the most turnovers goes to, I wish I could clap, but I'm holding my laptop with one hand, goes to Will Levis, everybody. He has not looked maybe like the franchise quarterback they probably wanted.
No.
In my opinion, he leads the NFL with seven interceptions.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And so I was going to add on to your really shitty Will Levis rating. Will Levis has the worst fourth quarter passer rating with 7 turnovers in the fourth quarter just in the past 3 games.
Oh, William.
And like, I think we talked about this like last week too. They just like, they cannot, and we were saying this with the Jags as well. They're very similar teams to me, but they make crucial mistakes at like the worst times. Like when you're set up to score and you're making those mistakes and those turnovers, like one good pass could have gotten you a score and you're throwing turnovers in those. So like if we were talking basketball here, very unclutch, okay? Like you shake and shiver when it comes down to times when you're needed.
When I wish I could grab these studio lights. The lights are too bright for Will Levis and you're outside, which is sad.
Yeah. No, it's so bad.
Yeah. But I do think that, and maybe not this week, but I think in the coming weeks when the Bills are going up against different teams, the first 6 games from their wide receivers was not great, which is why they went out and they got Amari Cooper, because of course, they want to be contenders. They want to be Super Bowl champs. And you have an amazing, amazing quarterback, and you've got to get threats to connect with.
Is funny because Yes, which is funny because like in their wins, in the Bills wins, which like I do want to I don't want to like hype the Bills up because their wins are against not awesome teams.
Yeah.
Like for the most part, they have not played super great teams, and they've also gotten their asses kicked by decent teams as well. So I think that kind of almost like shows that they're maybe like a mid-level team. But like they are scoring so much. They've been one of the highest scoring teams besides those 2 games, besides their 2 losses. In their wins, they're putting up massive points. And so it's like you have the pieces. That's what I'm saying. Like they have all these awesome offensive pieces. Why can't you use them? Do a little bit more with them. Or just play better. I don't know.
And also, of course, like Tennessee is ranked really high on their pass defense and stuff like that. These numbers, though, are against like some pretty shitty competition, okay? Like you have to take into account who it is, which is why I still have the Bills winning by so much.
Exactly.
Because they played against Bears like with Caleb Williams, but that was his NFL debut, week 1, which everyone knows was not great. He's only going up. And then you played 3 backup QBs. You had Malik Willis with the Packers, Tyler Huntley of the Dolphins, and Joe Flacco of the Colts, which Joe Flacco's not horrible, but he's just meh. So facing Josh Allen compared to like these guys is a different tier.
It'll be a little different.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a rather like exciting game.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to be an old-fashioned beatdown.
It's a game for sure.
Literally. And on to other unexciting games.
Dolphins versus Colts.
Yeah. Okay. So this one, I'm excited to hear your score prediction too. I have it being a really low scoring game.
I had it really low scoring. I still do. I have Colts 16, Dolphins 13, but I honestly could have put Colts 13 and Dolphins 10. Like,
okay. Yes. I love us because I have Colts 17.
Okay.
Dolphins 13.
Oh.
Wait, did you put Dolphins winning or Colts winning?
Colts.
Okay, yes, me too. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yes, I have the Colts winning just because, and you know what? I wasn't even super confident in this, but first of all, I wish we had a tribute video for Joe Flacco. Thank you for
thank
your
you for
services.
Stepping. He's not
as you do.
What is it not? He's not a stepdad. He's the dad that stepped up.
He's
dad
not QB2. Stepped up.
He's the second quarterback that stepped
he's
up.
Not the step quarterback.
No.
He's not the step quarterback. He's the quarterback that steps up.
And he always does. And you did it last year and you did it again, Joe. And
Joey,
we love you.
Yes, but Anthony Richardson is slated to come back this week, so I'm excited to see him. He's been injured for a few weeks. It'll be nice to see him back and see if he plays as well as he did week 1 and 2 when you and I were like, oh, this is an underrated Colts team. So it'll be nice to see him back. Obviously, Joe Flacco has held down the fort plenty. But like on the other end too, with like the Dolphins offense, their pass game, non-existent since Tua's been out. Literally non-existent. I think they average like less than 100 pass yards per game.
Yeah,
something ridiculous like that.
They're last in points per game. Yeah, they're rough.
Yeah, can't score to save their life.
Oh wait, did you? I don't know if you knew this when you were writing your notes. The Dolphins offense has only scored 2 touchdowns since Tua's been out.
Stop. Stop. Oh,
but Tua might be coming back next week, by the way. Yeah.
Please don't. I mean, please don't. For the Dolphins' sake, do. For your head, don't. But like, you know what? Whatever works best for you. He better be wearing a Guardian cap or something.
I swear, Tua Tagovailoa. Oh, I always say it wrong. Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. If you come back and you are not wearing a Guardian cap, I don't ever want to see your face again. And I know you have no clue who I am and you will not care, but
period.
I will be very disappointed in you. And shame.
Yeah, I am. It's funny because I was putting this is the best thing in the world, but the Colts have the second worst run defense in the NFL. They have the third worst defense overall. So I know it's so bad. Their run defense allows it's so bad, over 155 rush yards per game. And so I was like, thank God for Miami. Maybe like some of their running backs can push through there. But
man, maybe.
But Miami's run game ranked 31st in the NFL. So you got an ass run game going against an ass run defense. And it's going to be bad. I don't know. I really don't even have like so much to say about this game because it's going to be so bad.
I was just going to say it cracks me up because at the beginning when we did our NFL preview, I said that the Dolphins had one of the best rosters in the NFL.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, this game obviously looks like it's going to be between Tyler Huntley and Anthony Richardson. So I think as long as
it's probably going to be, I would say, a pretty like decent pass game. Like I think they're going to have to try to stick with passing, which is scary for Tyler Huntley.
Yeah, and the one thing I had to say was that Richardson has to take care of the football because I think we already talked about this, that he had 6 interceptions in 4 games.
Yeah.
That's not good, buddy.
Yeah, he was leading the league in turnovers and everything before he went out for his injury. So, that'll definitely be important for him, especially because Miami's like one redeeming quality similar to that of the Giants is their pass defense. They have an average pass defense. It's not awful or anything like that, but you're probably going to see, them struggling regardless. I just like there's... I don't even know how to say it. You're going to probably, Jonathan Taylor for the Colts is still out, so they're not going to really have him to run the ball. So you're going to have your second and third string running backs running the ball, which is Tyler Goodson and Trey Sermon. And they're not awesome either. And again, that's going against a Miami rush defense, which is also not great.
I put the key players I put one key player for each, and I think Jalen Wright, he actually had a decent game in week 5 against the Patriots. He had 86 yards on 13 carries. So since they have such a shitty run defense, maybe he'll get in there. So he's like proving to get better. And then you have Michael Pittman Jr. on the Colts, who we shouted out earlier.
He's back, right?
Yeah, I'm almost. Yeah, he played through it last week.
Oh, right. His back injury, huh? Yeah.
So he has scored a touchdown in 2 straight games and has now recorded 273 receiving yards on 25 receptions. So,
good for him.
Yeah. So it'll be a battle of ass, but that's okay.
Yep. Yeah, I've got Jalen Wright in here too. I just think that, both teams are going to have to find a way to score or find a way to stop the team from scoring. No one has a good defense or an offense. It's awful, yeah. So who cares?
Yawn.
On to the next one.
I have Seahawks versus Falcons.
Perf.
And I have, Caitlin, Falcons at 29.
Okay.
Seahawks 20.
Okay. So we have a similar spread, not the same. I have it being a tiny bit higher scoring. I actually have the Falcons at 34 and the Seahawks at 27.
Goddamn.
I know. I do have it being a higher scoring game. The Seahawks have been kind of like plateauing lately. Like I feel like Geno Smith and their offense has been like, the way that I see it is that the defense has, which is funny because I want to mention before the season started, I said the Seahawks were bottom 10 defense, if you remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And then the Seahawks came out and had fantastic defense for their first 3 games. Since their last 3 games after that, their defense has played so poorly. They have lost the last 3 games. Their defense has played so poorly that they are now ranked a bottom 10 defense. That is how bad the last 3 games have been for them.
Such the same brains, because I literally said that this game feels like, to me, a matchup of teams that are heading in opposite directions. The Falcons have finally got their offense up and going and running, and Kirk Cousins clearly has found his guys. And then the Seahawks,
like the best way possible. They're doing so well.
They're doing so well. And then on the other end, the Seahawks have lost 3 in a row, and their defense has given up a ton of points after being a really tough defense in the beginning. But then you have to think they're on they're 3-3 on the season. They were so great against the Broncos, Patriots, and Dolphins, who
I didn't even think about that. Their matchups have been awful. They've been they lose against decent teams.
Their past 3 games, Lions, Giants, and 49ers, they've lost by 9 or more points, which are much so. They're frauds.
Especially with the Giants being in there. I like that. They are kind of frauds. No, that's so true. Because and you know what? Like I said, part of the reason that I have it being such a high scoring game, even for the Seahawks, is because their offense is so good. Like I feel like in the last 3 games, their offense can score, but their offense cannot outscore the points that their defense is allowing. Like Geno and their offense are literally just climbing back. Like they're trying to climb out of these deficits every single game, and it's just not enough. Like their offense is not good enough to offset the way that their defense has been playing the last few games. So I do still think that they're going to be able to score. They have the pieces to score. You've got DK Metcalf. You've got, I was going to say, besides Tyler Lockett being questionable for them, for the Seahawks, you have a full offense.
Yeah.
Like other than that, you have a completely full offense for both teams, which is what part of the reason that I think that it's going to be such a high scoring game. But I like this stat because it's just fun. Kirk Cousins currently has the most passing yards over the past 3 games with 970. And Geno Smith is second with 969.
Wow.
And so it's like there's such fantastic offenses, and Seattle's defense has been like ruining these beautiful offensive plays that Geno Smith and the rest of the Seattle offense has been kind of putting together each game. So it's kind of sad for them.
I know. I feel like this could even like potentially be a surprise blowout. I feel like people never talk about this, but I always think about this because we're such big NBA girlies. Like I always do the time difference between where the home team and the away team is coming from, because often these teams travel like just, I'm like not using it for anything, but I keep it in the back of my mind, because especially when you're a team like if you're coming from the East Coast to play in Denver, and you have like a 1 o'clock game here. It's like a 3 o'clock game there, but same thing. If you're going to play like a 2 o'clock game in Miami and you're from here, that's an early start for you. So I say all of this rambling because I think Seattle, you never know, could look a little rough in the first half, at least, because it's a 1 p.m.
Be a little sleepy.
It's a 1 p.m. Eastern start, which is 11 a.m. here, which means they're going to have to get there
10
at like 8:30, 9:30
for Seattle.
10 a.m.
Yeah.
It's even worse. It's 11 a.m. for Denver. Yeah, even worse. So I think they're going to have to be there at like 7 a.m. their time. They're not used to playing then. They've only had West Coast matchups so far this season. So that was just something that I was like, something to keep your eye on. If they're yawning, we all know why.
A little sleepy. Yeah. I just I think that's a good point too. Like it's hard to come out with a bang when your brain thinks that it's early in the morning and stuff like that. But the Seahawks defense, they have like a slower run defense. They don't have the greatest run defense. And so I was saying that Bijan Robinson is probably going to come out with a bang. So it's funny that you were just talking about like their starts and stuff like that, like the way that they start depending on like the time. Because I feel like Bijan Robinson, if it's 1 p.m. his time and in the Seattle defense is taking a nap, I think he's just going to have a monster game. So expect
right past him.
Yeah, I was going to say, expect Bijan Robinson to run all over that Seattle defense because, it's going to be a good one for him.
I don't love this game. I don't know. I put Packers 29 and Texas 26.
I have dun da da da. Where did it go? Oh my God, what is my life? Dun da da da. I have Texans winning 34-31. I do have it being a little bit higher scoring. Same spread, though. This was a coin toss for me. I don't like my pick, but like I don't like a few of my picks.
Do you want to hear one of the things that went into mine?
I do, yes.
The Texans have only defeated Green Bay once in franchise history.
One single time.
Just one.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. No yes! way. I have no idea. Great. Now I'm screwed.
You can change your pick now. I won't tell anyone except for anyone who's watching this.
Yeah, everyone watching this is
everyone.
Like,
you're not going to tell anyone, right?
Yeah, this is
keep it to yourself.
This is the AB conversation. See your way out of it.
No, come back. Okay.
No, yeah. We're back.
Okay, we're back. Okay. This is going to be a big game. It's a coin toss. We have CJ Stroud versus Jordan Love, obviously two big names, and they are besties. They said they're really close friends, which Caitlin and I are such girls, and I'm like, aw, they love each other.
They're gonna hug after the game, all cute. Stop.
I know, they're so cute. Love that. So I am not confident in this game at all. They're very similar in a lot of things. Their defenses are similar. Like different defenses are a little middle of the road. The Texans defense, though, is fourth in opposing passing yards. Jordan Love has come back and obviously has been really great.
Yes, since he's been back. And then you have Packers safety Xavier McKinney, who's recorded an interception in each of his first 5 games. Yep, he's leading the league currently.
Yeah. So his streak like ended against the Cardinals, but the Packers recovered fumbles on 3 straight Arizona possessions. So clearly the Packers have a pretty damn good defense.
Yep.
And they're obviously fighting at to the top of a really tough division. I think it could, I agree with you, be an offensive shootout, even without Nico Collins. Clearly, the Texans' offense was rolling last week because you have Joe Mixon back in the mix. And, and the Texans can attack on either the air or the ground, which is like, once you figure out how to do both, same with the Lions, you can beat up almost anybody. But the Packers can score early and often, they have a really deep receiving core. So I'm not confident. I didn't have like too many notes because I really couldn't tell you who I think is actually going to win. I am back and forth. I could have chose either. What are your notes?
Yeah,
if any?
These, that was like my thought too. I went back and forth on this one for a while. I had like 3 or 4 games where I had to spend like an extra 15, 20 minutes just like doing research and really putting my head down and being like,
yes,
how and who do I pick here? This was one of those teams. First of all, I'm really excited. These are both 2 really young, athletic, great passing quarterbacks. So I'm really excited to watch this. And I love that they're friends because like, I just think it's like the whole tight end thing that the tight ends around the league do every summer and stuff. Like, I think it's really cool when you can like know and learn and befriend your competition and learn from each other. And I just think stuff is great.
They both grew up in Southern California. So.
Oh, that's cute. I love that.
Yeah. So Jordan,
good for them.
Jordan Love's a little older but he really respects CJ Stroud. He said in CJ Stroud, he really looks up to Jordan Love. So
I love that.
I know, it's very sweet.
Like I said, I don't know. I'm always like such a sucker for people who can find things other than just like football to like really get them through football, if that makes sense, like just the relationships and the opportunities and things like that. So love that for them. That's literally so cutesy. But so like you said, Green Bay has Xavier McKinney. They also have another fantastic defensive back in Evan Williams. And so I think that it's probably going to be a little bit trickier for CJ Stroud to kind of get those long passes. I think that they're probably going to have to stick to some shorter pass plays, which sucks for someone like CJ Stroud, who's such a fantastic passing quarterback, and have guys like Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell. Yes, like you have these great receivers too.
Yeah.
That can run routes for you and that are so good on these longer pass plays. So I think that'll make it hard. They'll probably, if they were smarter, try to do some stuff to limit their longer passes just with Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams, and just like that duo in the backfield. I think that that's going to be probably tough for them. So they'll probably also utilize the ground a lot. Obviously, like you said, Joe Mixon, Agumba Wale, and a couple of their other. They'll probably use their tight end as well. Dalton Schultz. My phone freaked out. But they'll probably use their tight end Dalton Schultz as well. I just think that the Texans, even after losing Cam Akers, do have a lot of really good offensive pieces, which is part of the reason that I have them winning. But I do have it being a really close game because so do the Packers. The Packers also have a deep bag when it comes to their offense and also their defense. I just think that it's going to be probably a little bit of a shootout. I don't know. The Packers have Josh Jacobs. They have Emmanuel Wilson, which are 2 really good running backs. So they'll be comfortable on the ground, which is good because the Texans have the 4th-ranked pass defense. So they're probably going to want to keep the ball on the ground a little bit more. So I foresee probably a pretty big game for Josh Jacobs and a little bit more utilization for Emmanuel Wilson, who has not been that highly utilized recently. So I don't know. Yeah. I think it's going to be a close game either way. I think they're such similar teams.
And the Packers defense is not great through the air. So I think like we like to say, the Texans are going to throw the ball a hell of a lot, and the Packers are probably going to run the ball a hell of a lot. And I'm sure that game's going to go.
You know what I was thinking with the Packers?
Tell me.
Like defense and everything. Their pass defense is ranked 25th, but you have two of the best cornerbacks in the league, one leading in interceptions. So I'm like, this is one of those things where I'm like, I swear the stats don't always tell the whole story, you know?
They
like
do
you
not.
have Yeah. And
They
you know
never
what?
do.
And maybe it's just like Xavier McKinney,
Don't mind
like
me.
being the one guy who is playing in man-to-man and they have the rest of the guys in zone. You know, maybe he just takes their best receivers and he plays man-to-man on them. But so maybe that's it. Maybe the rest of the defense just sucks. Like maybe the rest of their pass defense just sucks in zone, like their safeties and their other cornerbacks. But it'll be really interesting to see kind of how they play it with guys like Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell, who are really good long pass threats. And both teams have great running backs and great guys that can kind of run the ball and do what you need them to do. So yeah, I think you and I both see the same thing. I think it'll be a mid to high scoring game, a close game, and just an overall probably pretty good game.
It'll be a
They're
good
both
game.
great.
Yeah.
They're both great teams.
I'm excited to watch. I just literally did not know who to choose in the end.
Me too. Yep, that's what I'm saying. It's like they're again. It's almost like the Lions and the Vikings, just copy paste. That they're like the exact same team, but like with a little bit less gusto.
Yeah. Next game that I have is Bengals versus Browns.
Love it.
I'm
going
Bengals. I have Bengals 21, Browns 17.
Okay. Oh, you have it being kind of a closer game.
It being close-ish only because the Bengals offense in the past week has not shown to be that great against even like decent defenses.
Yeah.
Like they squeaked out a win last week. Their offense was not great. And the Browns defense is better than I feel like the stats show. And they are 11th in opposing passing yards. And while Bengals offense is 7th in passing yards, I still think that they get a little shook up with the pass rush. So I think that they can be limited. The Bengals can,
Okay.
Myles Garrett blocked the Philly field goal last week. It was a really close game with the Eagles. They still lost. The Browns still have not scored 20 points. So I don't have them getting that this week either. But the Bengals, I wanted to say, Caitlin and I, of course, are keeping track of when Deshaun Watson gets sacked, and Bengals defense is 30th in sacks. But the Browns O-line has allowed the most sacks per game at 5.2. So this is a perfect chance for them to up the rankings in their sacks.
Yes.
Come on, Bengals.
Come on, Bengy boys.
Watson. Okay, not only have the Browns failed to score 20 points in a game, but Watson has yet to throw for more than 200 yards in a game. And that's literally against the Jaguars and Commanders, who have like two of the most like generous, pass defenses like to get by. So that's pathetic. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I still think the Browns suck. I just think that like they get a little like close-ish sometimes because they have an okay-ish defense. They just have a really shitty offense. And I think, if it's a blowout though, can we get Jameis Winston in here? I'm calling Jameis Winston. I have him on the phone. He's ready.
I still want Jameis right now.
I want him
this very second.
Jameis, where are you?
Jameis.
But apparently Kevin Stefanski keeps saying the quarterback position remains unchanged. And I'm like, for what?
For why?
Why?
What are you seeing in Deshaun Watson? Because it's literally nothing. Like, get out of here with that.
It's giving nothing.
And Jameis Winston is not bad. He is a decent quarterback. I don't understand why you wouldn't.
He's a wild character, personally, but he's not bad. Get him in there. And like, I just can't believe they haven't benched him yet. Like, you've seen all the other people getting benched across the league. I'm just very confused. Yeah.
This game is, I have it being a lot higher scoring. I have the Bengals winning 34-20. And part of the reason I have that is actually because of the Browns defense. I don't think that the Browns defense is going to, like, the way that they play defense, the defensive scheme that they use something called cover one. And it's essentially man-to-man, and then you have a free safety roaming around in the backfield. But there are two defensive backs that would be on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase are going to eat them up in man-to-man. They're actually ranked, one of their cornerbacks that they use in this cover one defense is ranked 103rd out of 104 in just like passes defended and, deflections and all that stuff. He's horrible. And so when you have guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who are fantastic route runners, both fast, both smart when it comes to, getting open and finding a way to catch a pass, they're screwed. That's their better of the two as well. The 103 out of 104. That's the better of the two. Yeah. So, and their free safety roaming apparently hasn't really even done a lot for them. Like, it's like, like a little tiny mini zone out there. And apparently he hasn't done much either, except for just kind of be there to tackle when needed. So I just think that Jamar Chase is going to eat up Denzel Ward, who is their other defensive back. And then T. Higgins is going to eat up Martin Emerson Jr.
Gonna feast.
Like lunch. Yeah. Like literally a little club sandwich. Eat them up. Just... they're screwed there. I think we're going to have a big Joey B passing game just because of that Browns pass defense scheme. Like I said, just their scheme. The way that I am like seeing it is that not that they're like a bad team, because like you said, the Browns do have a decent defense. They're a horrible matchup. The Bengals are like a horrible matchup. The Bengals offense is a horrible matchup for this Browns type of defense that they use. And also, I do have the Browns finally scoring their 20 points, and I only have that because Nick Chubb is coming back, and I have him at 20, not more than 20, but at 20. They do have Nick Chubb coming back, and he is literally was the heart and soul of their offense before he got injured, and so I just think that it's going to take a lot of pressure off of Deshaun Watson, which also makes me really mad because he's such a fantastic running back, so I think that they're going to utilize him a lot. At least as much as they can for him coming back from a major injury. So that's all I really have on this one. Like I said, I think it'll be a little bit more high scoring, and that's really just due to the fact that it's a really shitty matchup for the Browns. And I hope Nick Chubb scores, and I hope we give him the quarterback he deserves, Jameis Winston.
We will see. I can't wait to see. Take note of the offense and defensive schemes out there. See how it works.
I know, me too. It'll be interesting.
I have...
Who do you have
My next game on the roster, on the slate, is Eagles versus Giants.
Eagles, Giants. This is another meh game for me.
I have Eagles 24, Giants 18. Saquon revenge game? Question mark.
Yeah.
Malik Neighbors maybe back? Question mark. I don't know. I think this game is so funny because if you ever watched HBO's Hard Knocks, Sean Mara literally went on and said that he would have a hard time sleeping if Saquon went to Philadelphia.
I'm so
dead. If you see him going into the stadium with bags under his eyes, we know why.
He's tired.
He's
having
tired.
That hard time.
Hasn't been sleeping. Yeah,
That's
especially
really
as he is thriving and has rushed for 486 yards, which is the third in the NFL right now. So I don't know. I don't think it's a stretch to think that he's going to have a big revenge game because clearly they decided to let go of him in order to keep their guy. So
yeah, I know. I kind of have the same thing. I feel like this game needs to be a good game for Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. They have both, I feel like, really not proved themselves or not played like themselves the past few weeks. It's been really slow for them, which is crazy because Jalen Hurts, obviously one of the best quarterbacks, best rushing quarterbacks that we've seen in previous years. And same thing with Saquon Barkley. He's such a fantastic running back and he does so much for that team. He is probably the biggest part of their offense besides Jalen Hurts. And so I think it's just really important for them to have a good game. I thought it was funny because, so obviously Malik Neighbors is coming back They have, I think they yes, I was going to say, so they've had him practicing all week and they said he should be ready to go. Obviously it's a game time decision. They're going to make that decision after he warms up and decide, what that looks like for him. But as of right now, he quote unquote should be back, but now they have a left tackle, Andrew Thomas, who's out. And Andrew Thomas is a really, really great left tackle. Great blocker. He has allowed very few pressures. So that's going to be hard. And then on the other end, wide receiver A.J. Brown is coming back for the Eagles this week as well, which is great because that will, again, take a little bit of pressure off of Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. You're going to be able to kind of use the pass game a little bit more. But their left tackle, Jordan Mailata, is now out for multiple weeks as well.
AJ Brown came back last week. Both Devontae Smith and AJ Brown were in the lineup last week.
Yes,
so this will be their second week back, which is hopefully a big lift for their offense because the offense has obviously been kind of like meh. So I do think with Devontae Smith and AJ Brown back for a second straight week that their timing with Jalen Hurts is going to be improved. And so I think that it could possibly, you didn't even tell me, what was your score? Because you said it was similar.
Oh, yeah. 24-20 Eagles.
Oh, okay.
So we're just a couple off. Yep.
So I think potentially like with Malik Neighbors, it could be a little bit higher. I think it could offensively that it could end up being a higher scoring game. I do think that the Eagles are still going to win.
I'm excited for the Giants that Malik Neighbors is back. They need
I
him.
love Malik Neighbors. He's caught 35 passes for 386 yards with 3 touchdowns before he had his concussion. So I think that it'll be interesting. The Eagles clearly are not as great as they have been in the past.
Yeah, they've been slacking.
They've been slacking, and I don't know. Well, so through Malik Neighbors' first 4 games, he was leading the league in targets and receptions and was second in receiving yards, averaging 96.5 per game. So he is a weapon.
He's like a big piece of their offense. He's like a necessary piece of their offense.
So I think they said he just has to clear protocol before the game. And and then he would be matched up with another first round draft pick, Quinyon Mitchell, who has been playing really, really well for the Eagles. But Philadelphia's like number 1 cornerback, Darius Slay, left last week's game with a knee injury. So if he misses the game, I don't know how Mitchell's going to do with Neighbors. He's going to have his hands full, guarding him all by himself. So we'll see how that matchup goes. I'm kind of like, this will be an interesting game. I feel bad for both teams. They're just Giants, obviously, really clearly aren't good unless they have Malik Neighbors out there. And then the Eagles just aren't as good as I think everyone thought they would be.
So for one of my notes on here too, is that like one of the things that we've seen a lot this season with Jalen Hurts, obviously he's a fantastic rushing quarterback. He's the kind of guy that like, if he sees that he's got nothing open, he can run the ball. But when he is pressured and he is like forced to make a pass, he is one of the worst quarterbacks under pressure in the league for completions. And so with his like most important left tackle being out, like, or his most important guy on his O-line, that usually is one of like the biggest blockers for him. Their second string left tackle, better be ready to go, because I think that'll hurt the offense, especially when you have guys like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith both back, and you can kind of utilize that pass game a little bit more and a little bit more comfortably. You also have to give him time to pass, or else he'll be screwed. So hopefully their O-line helps them out a little bit in that instance. But I'm with you. I think it'll be an interesting game, just with like both teams kind of finally coming back from injury and also losing a couple pieces. They're almost like different teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That's pretty much all I had there. All right, so moving on to the next game that's going to be happening. I have
another poopy one.
Another shitty one. I have, well, maybe potentially not for one team. So I have Rams. I have Rams 23, Raiders 13. Rams might be getting Cooper Kupp back.
Cooper.
I
love that for them. He is
what's your
so
score?
missed. 24-16.
Right, we're always so close.
I know. Our little brains, they work so close. I know. Well, and the Raiders also lose Devontae Adams.
He hasn't been playing though, so I didn't take him into too much consideration.
That's true.
Because he hasn't wanted to be there.
They're just bad with him anyway.
He was kind of a non-factor.
Yeah, they're bad with him, bad without him. But they lost him. They've got Aiden O'Connell starting again. And he's not super fantastic. They're probably going to sit there and just utilize Brock Bowers the way that they have the last few weeks. And then Alexander Madison, who is their running back, will definitely get some ground yards because the Rams rush defense is the worst in the league.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I think that you're going to see Alexander Madison. Like I said, he's like their kind of RB1 right now. Getting a lot of utilization in this game along with Brock Bowers because Brock Bowers can catch, run. He can do like the shorter lateral passes, whatever. He'll do whatever you need. But that's really all they have on offense. They have nothing else.
Yeah, I had Rams doing a little bit more just because if they get Cooper Kupp, they're opening up back back to opening up their offense because their running back Kyron Williams has been great. He's scored at least one touchdown in the past 8 games, and he has been averaging 72 yards through 5 games. So when you have, finally, as we've been saying, when you have dual threats, when you have someone that can attack on the ground and attack through the air, and great wide receiver, I think that they're going to be back to at least a little better shape. Thank you.
I agree.
And Devontae Adams is gone. Maybe I'm assuming, like we've talked about Brock Bowers, I'm assuming he's going to take over as the top receiver in Vegas as their tight end. If not him, I don't know who. You don't have anyone.
You don't really have anyone.
You don't have anyone. So the Rams have a really unimpressive defense. So I guess it provides, O'Connell a little opportunity maybe to get some good reps in. They're 28th in total defense. So they're down there. And they're literally the worst. They've allowed 157.6 yards per game. And then the Rams also just have 9 sacks in 5 games, despite they had really good rookie seasons from their edge rusher, Jared Verse, and their defensive tackle, Braden Fisk. And they've just
not fallen out a little bit.
Not doing great. So I think this is going to be a sucky game.
Me too. I'll be interested to see what the matchup looks like for Max Crosby because with Cooper Kupp coming back, you're going to want to give Matthew Stafford a little bit more time to make sure that he can get the ball to Cooper Kupp and actually be able to utilize him. And with a guy like Max Crosby on the other end, you're just going to want to make sure that matchup makes sense and that you can protect Matthew Stafford or else they're kind of screwed there anyway. You'll be seeing a lot of pressures, QB hits, sacks if their O-line doesn't perform. So I think that's important, something important to look for in that game. But 24-16 Rams have it being a low scoring, kind of boring game.
Amen.
Period.
I have the next game I've got on the list, Caitlin Marie, is Commanders versus Panthers.
Me too.
I have
this being a beatdown.
I have Commanders at 34 and Panthers at 20.
I love that. You are way nicer to the Panthers than I am. I have this being like truly an absolute ass whooping. I have the Commanders at 41 and the Panthers at 13. I know. I just
fair.
I just think that literally my first comment is just that the Commanders will eat this Panthers team alive. And the Panthers just got another offensive piece back or are getting him back. Brian Robinson Jr. returned to practice this week.
Yeah.
If he does get a play, it's just huge for the run game for the Commanders. That puts them in such a good position. It takes a little bit of pressure off of Jaden Daniels and Austin Eckler, who have been kind of leading this Commanders offense over the last couple of weeks together with a little bit of help from Jeremy Nichols. But if you get someone like Brian Robinson Jr. back, then you're getting just an additional incredible offensive weapon, which is part of the reason I have this being so high scoring. Just especially since the Panthers have allowed the most points per game in the past 3 games, and the Commanders are one of the highest scoring teams. So I just don't foresee that changing in this game for either team.
Yeah, the Panthers have allowed 155.7 yards per game through a 3-game losing streak. And that is really bad news when you're playing against the favorite for offensive player of the year, he's in the MVP.
Rookie of the year.
He's literally in like MVP talks as a rookie, which is like
it's insane. A
insanity.
Rookie quarterback nonetheless. Like it is so hard to perform to that level.
It's absolutely insane. So I am with you, Caitlin. It could be a 40-point game because they've hit the over in 5 of their 6 games. Their offense has been rolling. They are so in tune. And the Panthers have allowed an NFL worst of 203 points this season. So I think, as you said, that Jaden Daniels and co are going to literally eat, like snack on, munch, devour the Panthers defense and send them home crying. I think what's crazy is Washington has not had a winning season since 2015 and has not won a playoff game since 2005. They draft a rookie quarterback and he has literally in several games become their MVP. It's incredible. I'm excited for Brian Robinson to hopefully be back. He's aiming to play. He said, coming off losing seasons, it's always good to start off hot, but more than anything, we just want to keep it going. And I think they will.
Of course.
They kept up with Ravens last week. I think they're doing an amazing job. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like if they get a few more like defensive pieces, like in the next couple of years. They are going to be scary.
Yeah. No, I'm terrified of them. Them going from being 4-13, one of the worst like defenses in the league, one of the worst offenses in the league. Like they were just overall so bad last season. Yeah. And they just have turned it around, and it's so incredible to watch. But on the other end, I just had one more note. If if people are interested in, random things like this, you'll probably want to look out for, I don't even know, is it Chuba Hubbard or Chubba Hubbard? I don't know. I hate it either way.
I think Chubba Hubbard.
Chubba Hubbard. Okay, well, I just expect him to have probably a really big game just because they're going to want to take a little bit of pressure off of Andy Dalton against this Commanders secondary. Passing through the Commanders secondary is probably not the best idea, but they have like a little bit of opportunity in their run defense, so they'll probably see Hubbard utilized a little bit more than in other games. Super random. That's all I had. He's probably gonna look good. He's like their only other offensive piece. So taking anything off of Andy Dalton's plate is probably gonna be a little bit helpful.
Period.
Yeah. Go team. Sorry, Panthers.
Sorry, you guys. Better luck next decade, as we said.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to put who I had winning this game. Like I literally just wanted to give out a score for the Chiefs versus 49ers.
Okay, I want to hear it.
So my score is 27-23. Okay. And my choice is contingent, okay?
Okay,
because Jordan Mason suffered an AC joint sprain last week, and he was limited in practice on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So if he plays, and what I have written down right now is 49ers 27-23.
Okay.
If he does not play, I fear that it might be Chiefs 27, 49ers 23. What do you have?
Okay. I have, and this is more so a manifestation pick. Okay.
That's also why I've kept mine as well, because I have a stat.
Yes. I'm manifesting this right now. Okay. I need the Chiefs to get their first loss.
Please, I'm begging. I am begging.
Obviously, this is a Super Bowl rematch. It is in the 49ers stadium. They talk about it all the time. If you watch Cleats and Combos, you and I probably saw or whatever, George Kittle and Debo were talking about how the 49ers have like one of the craziest stadiums. And I think that with the Chiefs going to San Francisco, it is going to be loud and it is going to be true home field advantage for the 49ers. So I'm excited for them for that. I have the score being 30-27 49ers. I do have the same thing as you regarding injuries because there are 3 offensive pieces that are all currently questionable in Jordan Mason, Jawan Jennings, and Debo. All of them are hobbling. They've been limited. Okay. They haven't said like if any of them are supposed to be out yet, but they are all.
Spooky season is getting to me.
I know. Friday the 13th. I was literally saying just because it's literally 74 degrees here and it's been raining all day. And just like weird crap has been happening all day. I'm like, it's Friday the 13th somewhere. It's spooky season.
Spooky season.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason. Obviously, the Chiefs are not clear of injuries either. They have a ton of injuries on their end as well, with Rashee Rice still being out. Yep, Isaiah Pacheco still out. Juju Smith-Schuster is, at least last I saw, questionable with a hamstring injury. I don't know if he's going to be out or not. So both teams' offenses are kind of messed up, but I just think that you're going to see a lot of the utilization from George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk, and I think that both of those guys, like, it's not like other teams where you're like, oh, you only have like a couple offensive pieces, hope it helps. Like, this is George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk. Like, you can still get so much production out of the two of them if they're really all you have and if they're on their game. So I think that they're going to have to utilize them quite a bit.
I think something I'm scared about when it comes to choosing the 49ers. Again, it's more of a manifestation.
Of course. Yep.
Andy Reid is famous for his record following a bye week. Andy Reid is 21-3.
I know.
In regular season game after the bye.
He loves rest.
That is what terrifies me. But you have George Kittle. Hopefully Debo's playing. You have Debo. You have Brandon Ayuk. You have Brock Purdy, who has been showing out. And the Chiefs' the Chiefs' defense is 20th in opposing passing yards allowed.
Yep.
And 49ers offense is second in opposing passing yards. Wow, can't speak. Woo!
Bless you.
Anyway, so obviously the 49ers offense, when they're rolling, and Brock Purdy can throw the ball. And
he's currently like the highest graded quarterback in the NFL right now.
On any given night, like Debo, Brandon, or George Kittle, or Juszczyk, also can have an insane night. You have like 4 great pieces and options that you can go to, and the Chiefs offense that's depleted. So I am praying that they don't use their Kansas City voodoo magic to win this freaking game. I hope
Andy Reid becomes 23-4.
Also, you have Nick Bosa on the 49ers, and he has 3 sacks in 6 games, but he's up to 35 pressures and 26 hurries already. So I think he's really going to go at this Kansas City offensive line. Xavier Worthy, though.
Yeah.
He's fast on the Chiefs.
He is so fast.
So fast. He set a new personal best with 6 targets right before the bye week. And I think the Chiefs are going to keep giving him like more with, of course, Rashee Rice out. And but then Travis Kelce has also been doing better in his last couple games.
Yeah.
So
I said the exact same thing. I said the same thing because like Xavier Worthy, not only is he fast, but like the thing about Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce, the both of them, is that like I feel like besides in game 1, Xavier Worthy and Travis Kelce have kind of been like underutilized over the past several, or like over, I would say like weeks 2 through 5 maybe. Just because you had so many offensive pieces until they started getting riddled with injuries. So maybe weeks 2 through 4, like for a few weeks they were just not utilized at all. But we all know what Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce can produce together. We all know how they play together. They are literally like probably the best duo in the league when they need to be, and that's frustrating. But then you have someone like Xavier Worthy who can get down the field as fast as you need him to and be there and be ready. So that's why I have it being a little bit like I said, like of a higher scoring game. I think that both of these offenses are just fantastic. Even when riddled with injuries, you are seeing two of the best quarterbacks.
They're scoring.
Exactly. They're going to score no matter what. They always find a way because they are smart quarterbacks for the most part. I'm banking on the fact that Patrick Mahomes is having one of his lower producing seasons as a quarterback. I'm banking on that, and I'm banking on Brock Purdy having one of his better producing seasons. Even though they're only 3-3, he has been fantastic himself. And so I'm just, come on.
I was going to say,
I need it so bad.
Even though you have the Chiefs at 5-0 and the 49ers at 3-3, when you take the advanced stats, they pretty much have everyone even, like they're evenly matched. The biggest difference, which is in favor of the 49ers, is the Chiefs pass defense is ranked 16th, which is the weakest unit on either side of the ball for either team. So I think this is something where they have to take advantage, and I'm praying they do, and I'm praying that they outcoach the Chiefs, which is pretty damn hard because Andy Reid is really, really good at coaching.
I hate how much I love Andy Reid. He's just he's my little grandpa.
I'm so scared, but that's all I have for them. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I'm shaking in my boots, but I would love for the Chiefs to lose.
Same.
And I'm not just saying that as a Broncos fan. I'm saying that as I'm so sick of Chiefs fans and the Chiefs. And maybe I am bitter that they're winning. That's the point. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, I'm like,
so you don't need to come in here in the comments like you all like to do. You're so mad because we're winning. Yeah.
Duh.
Duh.
Especially as Broncos fans. Do you know how annoying it is? Do you know how annoying it is? Okay. It sucks.
As I said in the NFL preview, as long as Patrick Mahomes is in the NFL, you're fighting for second place in our conference. And it's not fun. Okay.
It's not.
It's not a great time.
Give me Peyton Manning back. Moving on. This is what's so funny is we just talked about two of the best quarterbacks in the league. And now we are going to two of the previously best quarterbacks in the league who are now old and decrepit. Is that a right word? I don't know.
They're old. They might need a wheelchair out there.
They probably will. Well, and it's funny. We say two old quarterbacks because they have announced, or I don't even know if they've officially announced it yet, but they have said that Russell Wilson is planning on starting on Sunday.
He will make his debut.
You know what? And I don't like that. I'm not going to lie. The only reason that I don't like that, and this is actually part of the reason, I'll give you my score real quick. I have 24-21 Jets. What do you have? Do you have the same?
23-20.
I hate us.
You know what? You know what's so funny is I'm convinced because if you're new here, Caitlin and I always say we have we're two halves of a whole idiot, same brain. Yep. But because I'm convinced that if you and I were together right now, that we would have the same score. But because we're states apart, we're just 1 point off. 1 point.
Yep. Just one little thing off. A little bit. Yeah.
It's the lag in between our brains get in between states. The state lines.
Yeah, the state lines are really putting that 1 point in between us. Mm-hmm. Stupid. It's New Mexico. It's all their fault.
Fucker.
Little buttholes in New Mexico with your fantastic green chilies. Anyway, that was so random. I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay. So this was a hard game for me to pick because they're, I think, going to be two totally different teams. And I say two totally different teams because you have Devontae Adams now, who is going to be on the Jets. And normally you'd be like, oh, they probably need like a little bit of a warm-up period. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers have been together every single second since the trade happened.
Besties for the resties.
And they've previously been one of the best duos in the league. They play very well together. They have fantastic quarterback-receiver connection. Yes, they play so well together. They know how each person plays, and it's just they have that advantage there. So I think that adding an additional offensive piece when you're kind of, I wouldn't say only struggle, but when one of your only struggles really was like a good, consistent offense for the Jets, I think that that's helpful on that end. And on the opposite side, you have the Steelers, who besides last week had like a really declining defense. Their defense was looking pretty rough for a couple of weeks there. And it wasn't like perfect last week, but it also wasn't much better, I guess. I don't know. So I worry about the Steelers defense. And then obviously with Russell Wilson starting, we have not seen him play with this team since like a quarter in like the last preseason game. I don't even know if he played like a quarter in the last preseason game. But so it's been...
No clue.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 7 weeks since we've seen Russell Wilson play with this offense, and it's probably been 7 weeks since Russell Wilson's really played with this offense.
Yeah.
And although Justin Fields has had a rough last couple of weeks, he has led this team to 4-2. And the thing that Justin Fields has that Russell Wilson doesn't is that Justin Fields is a fantastic rushing quarterback. As we know, besides Najee Harris, Justin Fields was the only guy getting rushing touchdowns for the Steelers. Russell Wilson is not that guy. He's the guy that'll like jog a few yards and go out of bounds. He's not the guy that's going to take the ball down the field and be willing to get those rushing touchdowns. Exactly. And so that's where my advantage lies with the Jets. That's why I ended up picking them.
Yeah,
So.
I think the Jets, looked okay. Obviously, I will say they obviously have a shorter week because they played on Monday against the Bills. But Breece Hall ran for a season high 113 yards on 18 attempts and caught 5 passes for 56 yards. It was
good.
obviously his best game of the season.
Yeah.
And I also think it's not a coincidence that came after their passing game coordinator, Todd Downing, was calling the plays instead of Nathaniel Hackett.
Ooh, interesting.
So clearly he figured something out that Nathaniel Hackett did not. But then again, you have Russell Wilson coming back. Who knows what that'll look like? Like literally we don't know. But the Jets offensive line, I will say, has had some trouble keeping Rodgers like safe in the pocket. And when you have TJ Watt coming, it's going to be an interesting game for Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
And I feel like he might get upset because you can tell when he's getting angry.
He gets angry.
He shows it on his face, and he has been sacked 11 times and hit 30 times in the last 3 games, all losses. So
Sorry, I should laugh.
Here comes TJ Watt, who has 4.5 sacks this season and forced a pair of fumbles last week against Vegas. So I have, Jets 23,
pass rushes in the game.
20. So it'll be interesting. I'm interested to see what Russell Wilson does for the Steelers that he did not do for us.
Yeah. Yay.
So glad you're somewhere
I
else,
hope
and
he
we're
can
still
figure it out with
we're still signing his checks though.
Oh, sorry. Love that.
It's fine. Okay. Moving on.
It's fine. Ravens, Bucks.
Ravens versus Bucks. The only good game that is going to be happening on Monday night.
I'm excited to hear yours. I feel like ours are going to be different on this one.
I think so too. I have Ravens 30, Bucks 27.
Oh, okay. It's not too different. I have Ravens 37, Bucks 30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So still the same
similar
spread.
vibes. Yeah.
Of course.
Yes. I have it being a high scoring game. These are two fantastic, like both teams are 4-2, but they are two very good 4-2 teams. They're teams that have played pretty decent competition. They've played a lot of tough games. And so 4-2 makes sense for them. They are two very dominant offensive teams. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Obviously, we know that they are fantastic rushers. Lamar Jackson, currently the best in the league, currently second best for rushing all time for quarterbacks. And he currently has the lowest turnover rate in the NFL. And he leads the NFL in rushing quarterback stats and is highly ranked in passing too. Baker Mayfield is leading the league in passing touchdowns with 7 just in the past 2 games. So, I mean, I just feel like it's going to be such an offensive game just because they're two fantastic offensive teams.
100%. And the Bucks defense is fine, but it's really poor on third down efficiency. And on the other end, the Baltimore defense is great on third down efficiency, obviously, because you have a bunch of guys that can just bully their way through you, either Lamar or Derrick Henry. And they have converted on third downs more than half the time. They're 51.47%. So
That's
I
pretty
agree.
insane.
So I'm not mad at you thinking that it would be an offensive game, because Ravens defense, is 23rd in opposing points per game. So that's not best. They're 31st in opposing passing yards. But their defense is first in opposing rushing yards, of course. So again, it's one of those
rush defense.
Of course, it's one of those games like we were talking about a couple earlier.
Yeah.
Bucks need to pass, keep it clean, no interceptions, and then the Ravens can run all over. So I think the Bucks are going to be in the air and the Ravens are going to be on the ground.
That's exactly what I said. I said we'll probably see a slower game for Bucky Irving, because as good as Bucky Irving has been, there's just no way that he's going to have an explosive game against this Ravens defense.
They're so damn good at running the ball and also stopping the ball. And I know I say it every week, but it's absurd.
Yeah, it's their lines. Their lines are fantastic. It's going to be so hard for Bucky Irving to break through that Ravens defense. So I foresee them utilizing, like you said, the pass game quite a bit. But the hard part is that the Buccaneers don't have a ton of guys to pass to. You'll probably see a little bit of Chris Godwin, some of Sterling Shepard, and maybe even a little bit of usage of their tight end, Cade Otton. I just don't. They have, great running backs in Rashad White and Bucky Irving. They don't have a ton of pass threats, which is part of the reason that I have the Ravens winning as well. And obviously the Ravens have Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and Isaiah Likely. So I think you're going to even see targets for them. The Ravens,
I think you're going to see Justice Hill a lot in this game too.
Yes, absolutely. Like that's the thing about the Ravens, is that they really do have such a diverse offense and they can use it however they want. And so I think that alone is going to kind of pull them through and get this win for the Bucks, or win against the Bucks.
If you're a betting person, I, again, would bet probably the unders on the Tampa Bay's rushing guys, Bucky Irving and whatnot. But I also, if you're looking for a touchdown scorer, I think Lamar Jackson will easily get at least one, maybe two. The Bucks have allowed league most 4 rushing touchdowns to opposing quarterbacks this year, and none of them were Lamar Jackson, along with more than 31 rushing yards per game to people that were not Lamar Jackson. So they've also allowed the 4th most passing yards this year. And again, if you take a look at the offense, Ravens offense is 8th in passing yards and 1st in rushing yards. Like, they're not just good at running the ball. They can pass the damn ball too. I know that Tampa Bay scored 51 points last week. That's the only reason I think I gave them a little bit of a closer game.
Who did they play though?
They played the Saints.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Who we ran all
saw.
over.
Yeah, we saw how bad they were. Saints scored 10 total points. Should have been 3.
Just kidding. Wait, what week was last week? 6, right? Yes. Saints.
Yeah.
It was 51-27. So
yeah.
Saints just really
was it?
last
Okay.
night.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, so obviously the Ravens are also on a 4-game winning streak, and they have the best rushing offense and top total offense in the NFL. So I don't think that the Bucks will be slowing them down.
Me neither. I think it's going to be a good game for both of them. But I've got Ravens edging them out.
Yeah, I do think I said it was close too, because and fair that you think it's going to be an offensive game, because Baker is leading the league with 15 passing touchdowns and a 71% completion rate, which is insane. So
pretty fantastic.
Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, like you said, are going to ball out. And obviously this matchup is favorable for their passing game. And no team has allowed more passing yards than the Ravens this season. They've allowed 11 passing touchdowns.
Oh, yeah, so true. Mm-hmm.
So I expect, again, I would pick the over on passing touchdowns.
Passing for the Buccaneers.
For Baker Mayfield.
Yep, I agree. Period.
On to the last game.
I was going to say, let's get into this boring last game. This is going to be...
I don't care about it. Do we have to?
Oh, yeah, so fast. Here we go. Chargers, Cardinals. I have Cardinals winning 20-17. Ooh. I know. I have it being kind of a weird game. This is me kind of trying to manifest it. I can't wait.
I have the Chargers 20-16.
I love this game. We're disgusting. We are so gross.
So funny. Yeah, this is
I literally...
Go ahead. It's your turn. Go.
I was just saying, I my first bullet point is literally this will be a boring, lower scoring game. Ugh.
It's gonna suck. The only reason I picked Chargers over Cardinals is because this is a terrible matchup for the Cardinals because they don't know how to stop the rush. And then the Chargers have the NFL's top scoring defense. And Arizona is likely to be without Marvin Harrison Jr. So
I know. Still.
I love LA in this matchup. Unfortunately, both of the teams have top 10 rushing offenses, but the Chargers also have a top 10 defense and rank number 1 in scoring defense. So like I had to go with them. The Chargers
hurts.
They have the people to be the more dominant team, I think, in this.
They
and
do.
Cardinals have been really weird. And of course, Kyler Murray is such a threat with rushing. But this Chargers, we witnessed it last week with the Broncos. They can stop you.
Yes. And this is part of the reason that I picked the Cardinals. First of all, I'm manifesting it. I need the Chargers to lose just for divisional purposes, manifesting that in my head. But the Chargers have Gus Edwards, who is currently out. Lad McConkey, Quentin Johnston, and Will Dissly are all questionable. And those are their 3 other offensive pieces. So they currently are like out most of the scoring part of their offense in this game. So I think that's going to hurt them. They're going to have to kind of dig into their second and third string guys on top of J.K. Dobbins. So J.K. Dobbins is going to have a monster game. And then they're going to have to kind of dig deep into that bag and have some of those second and third string guys. But luckily for them, like you said, Chargers do have a great defense, which is something that the Cardinals lack exponentially. They have pretty much nothing. But I think that James Conner, Kyler Murray, and Trey McBride will all have to run their asses off. Trey McBride is their tight end, and he has shown in the last couple of weeks that he can be utilized and he can be a scoring threat and a threat in general. James Conner's probably like their only, besides Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner's probably their only other offensive threat. And then Kyler Murray is just going to have to do what he can to gain some yards when no one else can get open. It's going to be a rough game. Yeah, it's going to be a rough game. But I'm just picking the home team here. I literally said I'm hoping for a win for them and a loss for the Chargers. That's all I want.
Makes sense.
But I think it'll be a slow game. I think it'll be a boring game. Again, both teams riddled with injuries. Both are average and below average teams. So go Cardinals. I'm here in Arizona. I would like my people happy. I say my people like they're mine.
What is that?
I don't know.
Oh,
it's my world.
Oh, Kate's world.
It is Kate's world, and we're all just living in it.
We're all just living in it. I sure am. Well, if you joined us today and if you're still here, you're a trooper.
We love you.
Thank you so much, because this might be our longest episode to date, because we
can't stop talking.
Much to talk about and we literally can't shut up. So
chapters. There's chapters, people.
There's always chapters. If you are new here, I am Spencer again. That's Caitlin. We are U Sports. We have merch linked below. We have all of our socials linked below. Please follow us on all the things. We are going to have an NBA episode for you on Monday, and we can't wait to chat more with you. We'll have the week 7 recap to see how our scores came out next week as well.
Yeah, and let us know how bad I did. I love this game.
Love this game.
But you're always a little bit smarter, like with your stuff. I usually pick off feelings.
Well, you're just an empath. We love that.
I am. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I just feel all the feelings. Whatever. We love you guys.
It's okay.
Thanks
we
for
love
being
you
here.
And
love
we'll
you,
literally
miss you.
See
you so soon. Love you, miss you. Bye.